complete joke.
Why is it a joke?
You guys are nowhere. You have white supremacists in your party and in your administration. Oh, Nick Fuentes. Oh, whatever. It's
He's
just
not
a
in our
dinner.
administration.
Oh, Alliance for Deutschland. Oh, it's not really a Sieg Heil salute. Go to CPAC. There's anti-Semitic conspiracy theories all over the place.
Do you not? And someone has to stand up for these Jewish
it's not
kids.
going to be the rabbi at the table.
Someone stands up. Someone has to stand. Someone has to stand up.
It's not going to be my friends in Jewish studies who had the grants
until Donald Trump came along in his administration and decided people don't want a private university with a $53 billion endowment to get $1 while a Jewish kid is being discriminated against on campus.
As someone who is the daughter of, people who grew up in the segregated South who were married in New York City when it was illegal in their home states, I would say it's forward, not left, that we actually believe black people should have the right to vote, women should be able to control their own money, and that we are evolving constantly in our core values of this country.
Hello, everybody. Guys, let's get right into this panel. Scott Jennings and his party's racism was called out to his face. This was so satisfying to watch. Check this out.
Let me just read to you a little bit more about what the Trump administration demanded. They want to eliminate DEI programs, institute mask bans, institute merit-based hiring and admission reforms, reduce the power of students and faculty administrators. Now keep that in mind. They also want to do this. Every department or field found to have lack of viewpoint diversity must be reformed by hiring a critical mass of new faculty within that department or field who will provide viewpoint diversity. Every teaching unit found to have a lack of viewpoint diversity must be reformed by admitting a critical mass of students who will provide viewpoint diversity. So which is it? Is it merit or is it quotas for particular viewpoints that this administration wants?
Well,
quickly, guys, leave in the comments. What viewpoint do you think they want taught in schools? Think about it for a second.
Yeah, I mean, this is my home institution, and I can say, there's been a lot of tension on campus just waiting for this to happen, and I can only speak for myself and, a few of my colleagues, but there's, I think, a little bit of relief that it's now happened, that Harvard has taken this stand. These demands are very different from what was put to Columbia. Those were pretty outstanding as well, but these are much more so, as you just read. But this is out of Viktor Orban's playbook of demolishing higher education. This is out of Chris Rufo's dreams of and Mark Andreessen's dreams of deconstructing higher education. And these demands, there's no point in being Harvard if you can't be Harvard, if you can't actually set your standards of academic excellence, and you have some, bureaucrat looking over all of your decisions and making life miserable.
Why are they trying to tell private universities what to teach?
Well, they're actually trying to say this in regards to federal funding. So I think the big story out of this, obviously I understand your point of view, and I said this at the beginning, you have a $53 billion endowment. I understand how it goes in regards to how money is distributed, but you're going to get $9 billion cut from your budget. That's federal funding that comes from the federal government at the discretion of the federal government. So they have the ability to do it. And my question is, because of this, which is what happened during the protests last time, were what big funders, the big board members, former students that are now the billionaires giving or the millionaires giving, how much are they going to pull their funding, or if not?
So, and I feel like doesn't that skirt the main, I mean, the question that I actually asked, which is we understand what the stick is, which is the money, but why are they using that as leverage or as a threat to try to control what is being taught? I think that's the fundamental question.
They are using it. They're using the pretext of fighting anti-Semitism on campus, and based on what they see as past events that did take place at Harvard last academic year. That is the pretext for basically neutralizing the university. And the fact is, look, generally conservatives are against big government meddling in the day-to-day aspects of people's lives. This affects so many people beyond the Harvard community because money from some of these funds that the federal government gives Harvard, it is used in hospitals, research facilities, labs. These are things that do affect people who are not necessarily have a direct affiliation with the community. So the administration is using this pretext to try, in my view, to stifle dissent and to meddle in, hiring, admissions, leadership, and governance of a private university.
Again, no, this isn't new, right? I mean, we've seen this in Orban. This is the authoritarian playbook. You go after the press, you go after the legal establishment, you go after higher education. I do want to just engage on this for a second. First, this isn't discretionary, right? These are contracts, these are grants for medical research and so on. And so it's not actually within their discretion. And second, of the endowment, most of it is already contractually assigned to specific purposes. So Harvard can't, it's not a savings account. They can't just kind of dip in
70%.
and
But
withdraw.
isn't it the discretion of the federal government, the money that comes
No,
from
they've
the
signed a
foreign-
contract, and they have constitutional
But it's new money they're
restrictions
taking
on.
back.
No, I mean the freeze is existing
you
money.
can
So the
freeze
threat
it,
of the
too.
future
Yeah,
money.
yeah.
So and there are constitutional restrictions when you can't condition the government funding on viewpoint discrimination. That's a First Amendment violation. And so I think Harvard, because they do have somewhat deep pockets, can play a little bit the long game. They are going to win in court. MIT has also just joined the lawsuit. There's evidence that Princeton is likely to join the lawsuit.
But that's why it matters that a big institution like Harvard stepped up, because they can afford it, right? They have the money to afford it. But let's say the thing that I think you're trying to get to. I mean, this has actually been a dream of the right wing since going back to the 70s, frankly, going back to, Nixon was, complaining about the Vietnam War protesters. So this has been in the playbook for a very long time. In this instance, they're doing it because they believe that too many of the conversations about culture have moved too far to the left. Now, as someone who is the daughter of, people who grew up in the segregated South, who were married in New York City when it was illegal in their home states, I would say it's forward, not left, that we actually believe Black people should have the right to vote, women should be able to control their own money, and that we are evolving constantly in our core values of this country.
Guys, I purposely paused it there. Look how Scott Jennings rolls his eyes and looks up. Like he just can't even control his facial gestures, his bodily gestures anymore. It just bothers him so much to hear someone speaking about racial injustices and trying to move forward. He's such a vile racist. He can't even hide it anymore. I'm going to rewind it a few seconds just in case you missed it. It's incredible.
Actually believe Black people should have the right to vote, women should be able to control their own money, and that we are evolving constantly in our core values of this country, the rights and freedoms of individuals.
I mean,
but they have
know
a different ideological view.
I guess the thing is, let's take Harvard out of it. Let's make it Liberty University. Let's make it some other institution that is more conservative leaning. It doesn't really matter. The question is, should the government use the power of the purse to strangle institutions until they do what they want them to do, telling them, oh, you need to admit these students, you need to hire these people, you need to teach these courses, or get rid of that department or add this department. I imagine you wouldn't want that either.
I think that this is all about anti-Semitism. I mean, I believe that what's happened on these campuses in the Ivy League and in other places, mostly private institutions, has been an abomination. And someone has to stand up for these Jewish
it's not
kids.
going to be the rabbi at the table.
Someone stands up. Someone has to stand. Someone has to stand up.
It's not going to be my friends in Jewish studies who had their grants canceled.
Until Donald Trump came along in his administration and decided to connect federal funds to stamping out the scourge of anti-Semitism on these campuses,
like Nick Fuentes,
nobody,
like the Sikh Heil
nobody was willing to
salutes,
stand up for him.
like
And
standing
finally
up
he
for
did.
Alliance
And I
for
think the American
Deutschland.
people don't want a private university with a $53 billion endowment to get $1 while a Jewish kid is being discriminated against on campus.
First of all, let me hold on. Let me just
What a
say.
complete joke.
That
Why is it a
You guys
joke?
are nowhere. You have white supremacists in your party and in your administration. Oh, Nick Fuentes. Oh, whatever. It's
He's
just
not
a
in our
dinner.
administration.
Oh, Alliance for Deutschland. Oh, it's not really a Sikh Heil salute. Go to CPAC.
You sound
There's anti-Semitic
unhinged.
conspiracy
You sound
theories
crazy.
all over the place.
Do you not want these college campuses to do better? Do you condone what is
That's
happening
what
to these
Harvard
Jewish
agreed
kids?
to do. They already agreed.
I think the issue is not whether these universities should.
Oh, chef's kisses. That was fantastic. That's how every conversation should go with Scott Jennings. And he doesn't have the time, but you have to combine all these other related issues to show the full pictures of Trump and the Republican Party. Guys, Marjorie Taylor Greene, one of the top fundraisers, if not the top fundraiser on the right wing, said that the California wildfires were started by Jewish space lasers. The constant, George Soros is controlling everything, and what a surprise. He's a wealthy Jewish man. How about the Charlottesville chant, "You will not replace us"? I mean, they have consistently shown this character trait of racism or bigotry. And they use it. The leaders in the Republican Party use it. And these right-wing YouTube pundits use it to scare the crap out of voters. about different groups of people and scare them into voting for them. And because Republicans are such little crybabies and afraid of literally everything, it works on them. They have specific attacks for different groups of people, and each of them are used to scare their voters one way or another of the supposed monster under the bed. Republicans, there's no monster under the bed. The monster's in the White House, you idiots. Like, again, you have to give the full picture. Hispanics, illegal, dangerous immigrants, they're poisoning the blood of the nation. This is what Trump said. Almost exact words that were used by Hitler. How about the Republicans with the constant crying about DEI and calling black people incompetent, consistently making that connection? And if they're in a prominent position, they rush to call them undeserving of some way, and only got it because they were black and because of DEI, because they couldn't possibly be intelligent enough. These people are disgusting. Obama wasn't born here. Like, again, the context of this man and this party that stood by all this. He told 4 women of color to go back to their country. I mean, guys, I can't even remember everything. The Haitians with eating and the cats and the dogs. It just comes over and over and over. Trump and his staff running around the White House removing pictures of black and brown people and women. Or the word gay and stuff. Like, these people they're not all there. I mean, like, are you kidding me? It's one of the pillars of success in the Republican Party is to be racist or bigoted. How about Arabs? Guys, let me know in the comments. Well, you don't have to let me know in the comments, but let's figure out what Republicans would say about, let's say, Arabs, because they got an attack on everyone. What do you think that's the one that they use? What do you think is the attack they use on Arabs to scare the crap out of people? We all know what it is. With the constant connection of terrorism.
Just anti-Semitism. The question is, how is the government using government power to do it? That there is a complete distinction between the university addressing its own problems and the government forcing them to do it in a particular way.
The entanglement comes when you take federal money. If Harvard wants to give up the federal money, you can do all the anti-Semitism I guess you want at Harvard or any other school, but
Yes,
that's
I
not the
want to do
issue.
lots of
That's not the
anti-Semitism.
This
issue.
was really about fighting anti-Semitism. What they would have started with, just like with Doge, is let's look at what they have done over the course of the last year and then go to Harvard and say, not enough, or that was good, we want you to do that. Instead, it's all performative. This is all about Trump being seen as this tough guy standing up, again, but they're also using anti-Semitism as a way to then also push a conservative ideological agenda and use research dollars, which, by the way, we all benefit from the medical and technical research that goes on.
I think that this is,
doesn't have that
it is a
authority
good point that the research, hold on a second. It is a very good point that the dollars that we're talking about, I think it can sound like it's charity, but what is happening is that these universities produce a lion's share of the scientific research, of the medical research, of all kinds of different research that we then benefit from. I'm not saying that every dollar ought to be given to Harvard. I don't know what it's all going to, but just to clarify what it's for, it's not just so Harvard can sit swimming in cash.
Right.
And other universities will have to be able to pick up that slack, and it's not clear that they will be able
legally,
to.
This is what the administration wants, right? But legally, they're going far beyond the limits of Title VI in trying to impose restrictions on a private university. So whatever you think of the issue, whether Harvard should have this money, whether it should go somewhere else, the administration hasn't provided specific legal justifications. They've provided ideological, but not specific legal basis for taking these steps.
And I think that the reason this is so significant is because this will be the first step in this going to the courts, and we'll find out how this works out. Raul Reyes, thank you very much for joining.
I don't know how people like Scott look themselves in the mirror. He's such a vile racist. Could you ever picture him defending a black or a brown person with their constant attacks, saying they need protection and we need to scour this off the land? He's one of the people that called DEI anti-white. I mean, just so revealing who he is. And guys, let me give you my final spiel here. The only way to make real change is for us to come together, to put whatever differences we have aside for the greater issue at hand. And by us, I mean black people, brown people, Jewish, all of us that are being demonized one way or another by these disgusting, vile, bigoted, racist people. And white people that are against this, I'd be more than happy to have you with us. We need as many people as we can. I'm telling you, this is not a future that we want. We've had this in our past. It never ends well for either side. We have to learn how to, whatever differences we have, put them aside. We're much more formidable together. And guys, this is why conspiracy theorists are just so dangerous. People who are so susceptible to conspiracy theories they can just be easily fooled for the most nonsensical stories. Like, I might be better off wrapping my arguments around a conspiracy theory to get it into their skull. This is how if it's not connected to a conspiracy theory, they don't believe it. It's just like Republicans fall right into it each and every time, never question anything, no matter how crazy it sounds. And I believe, and I'm not trying to give them any type of grace here. I believe the reason, yes, these people are, for the most part, unintelligent, right? They're not the most intelligent people. They're not able to really think for themselves or think critically. It's a better word. But I think the other issue is that in their hearts of hearts, they want to believe that there are people out there that are less than they are. It makes them feel better. It makes them feel elite or special in some kind of way. And I think that's why they're okay with the cruelty and just the most vile, bigoted things. Because again, in their hearts of hearts, they want to believe it's true. Right? They don't think it's a lie that black and brown people are dangerous or incompetent. They want to believe it, so they believe it. It's that simple, I think. But let me know what you think about all this. I thought this was a great pushback. That's how Scott Jennings should be pushed back every time any of these conversations come up. Just list. And when he has nothing to say, he looks away from the camera. He has that has a tantrum, or he just looks away and just gets completely silent. He has nothing to say. I thought that was very revealing. Not that I didn't already know this about Scott Jennings, but I think the more you can expose who these people really are, that it's a chance that you'll peel away at least some tiny percentages of Republicans away, and maybe start realizing, okay, I didn't know it was this bad or something. At least that's my hope. But anyways, let me know what I'm just rambling now. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Please subscribe. It really helps the channel. Please leave a like, and I'll catch you in the next one.